This is other state champ Alex Thompson. This is Josh Elwer from the University of Northern Iowa, and you're listening to Potentially Dangerous on IA Wrestle.
Hey, is this heaven?
No, it's Iowa.
From high school to international wrestling, on the mat and beyond, this is the Potentially Dangerous podcast with the guys from IA Wrestle.
If you're a fighter, you like a fight. If you're an American, you like a fight. If you're an Iowa Hawkeye, you know you're going to get a fight.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes and all your podcast-friendly apps. And follow us on social media platforms at IA Wrestle. Time to strap it up and get to the show.
When the whistle go.
All right, today we've got a special episode of Potentially Dangerous. Wanted to catch up with Richie Lewis, former JUCO star for Iowa Central. Didn't come away with a national title, but the stories that he came away with really has molded him into what he is now at Rutgers. Just came home with a U23 World Championship and really came out of nowhere. He had no international experience, so to come back from that definitely was a stepping stone for him. So the show starts with Richie Lewis talking a little bit about Iowa Central, how he got recruited, anything from a billy goat to wrestling Pat Downey on and off the mat, his life about not growing up with his family, coming to Iowa, and how it all changed when he did come to wrestle for Iowa Central. So without further ado, let's get to the show. All right, welcome back. Joined here by U23 World Champ Richie Lewis. How are we doing today?
Feeling great, man.
Been a rough week, rough and crazy weekend of traveling, but it was worth it, right? Coming home with a gold medal.
For sure, man. 20 hours of traveling there and back, but it was definitely worth it.
Hey, I mean, you've always been a guy that's had a lot of confidence in your abilities. This is your first international experience, though, and going into it, what were your expectations?
You know, my expectations was just to go there and win the whole tournament. Going in, I said, it's my first international tournament. I definitely want a medal. I wouldn't be too upset with the bronze, but I definitely want to win gold. And then the day of the tournament, I said, fuck that, man. I want to be a gold medalist. I don't want a bronze. And that was my mindset, I'm winning gold no matter what.
So training-wise, have you been training freestyle? Since this is your first international experience, I mean, is this a discipline that you do train with in the off season, or are you mainly a folk style guy?
I love freestyle a lot better. I like it a lot better too because I'm explosive. It caters to my style. I'm really good on my feet. I don't gotta worry too much about defending on bottom. Don't gotta exhaust energy escaping. So I could just push guys out of bounds. I could throw guys and not have to have control. So it's suited to my style. I don't train it too much, but wrestling's wrestling,
Well, I wanted to go back to kind of how you got here, how you got to Rutgers, how you got to be on the world team, and you started off in Iowa, right where we're at Iowa
Dirty
Central.
Dodge, baby.
The Dirty Dodge is what they don't mind being called that either. That's interesting to me. I guess why the JUCO route out of high school? Why did you go that way?
Coming out of high school, I was a tail end guy. I was getting recruited to Division I programs, but not getting offered too much. I had a 2.1 GPA as far as the Division I platform goes, but I graduated with a 1.8 as far as my high school goes. So the whole time I thought I didn't pass the clearinghouse until very late in the process. And I didn't really want to pay for school or take out loans or anything, and I got a full scholarship to Iowa Central, and when I went out there, I just loved it, man. Coach Moffitt picked me up from the airport and took me straight to his buddy's house, and he said, I'm going to show you what I was like. Took me down the dirt road, took me to a farm, and had me wrestling a billy goat.
You're kidding me.
Out. Swear.
A billy goat.
A billy goat. He said, we went straight to the farm, I pet the horses, and I seen the billy goat, and the billy goat started charging me. And Moffitt's like, grab it by the horns and see how long you can hold on. And I thought he was joking because, I'm from New Jersey. We don't really see that stuff. So I said, screw it, man. And I grabbed him by the horns, held on for a little bit, and from that point I knew that this is where I wanted to be,
Well, I've got some dirt on you a little bit too. Speaking of Dirty Dodgers, just kind of about your time in that wrestling room. And Troy Bennett coached you as well. He said in 23 years he's never been punched by a wrestler before, but you've punched him a couple times. I mean, what were you like in the wrestling room back at the JUCO days?
Bennett tries to bully guys, but I wasn't having it. I'm a born fighter. I love wrestling, but fighting is really like my main passion. So when I go out in there and I wrestle, it's a fight every time. I'm looking for a war. I'm looking to take guys into deep order. So that's just my personality. So I'm in the room and I got Coach Bennett over here talking all this crap, man. In Jersey, we're fighters.
Well, at that time, Pat Downey was on your team. You guys were there too, and I heard you guys had some blows. One time, did you spit? You hooked a loogie on his chest, or he spit on you, and this apparently caused a huge fight in the middle of campus. I mean, is this a true story or?
It's a true story. Me and Pat are best friends, and he's a big dude. And one day we got into a fight because I was wrestling Bennett for an hour straight. Bennett's choking me out, giving me rib shots, and Bennett gets done, and he tells Pat to start chirping at me and start putting his hands on me. And I was dead tired. I really wasn't in the mood. And, I said, Pat, you better stop, man. You better stop. And I swung at him, and I missed, and he hit me with a couple rib shots. And then, the ladder happened, and got broken up, whatever. And then one day, we just scrapped outside at the right outside in the middle of campus. He pulled up. He drove up on his car, actually. Just pulled up when I was walking down the street. Got out of his car with his boy, who was my mutual friend, and I was with our other mutual friends. And we just did a one-on-one real quick.
So after that, you guys were just bros again? That was just what all it was, or?
After that, we just dapped each other up. He got a couple shots in, I got a couple shots in, and shook hands after that, and best friends again.
That's wrestling, and I guess that's just kind of how men settle things too. That's hilarious. Well, I wanted to, at your time at Iowa Central, one of the biggest. You were a key point into them winning a JUCO title the year you were there, but you got decked first round, and you came all the way back to get third. I guess going into that tournament, high expectations, lose first round. What were some of the things that Coach Bennett and Moffitt were telling you, I guess, at that point to keep you motivated to come back for the team?
My freshman year, I originally was a 141-pounder. Then I was 49, and then I had a little trouble with my weight, and I was weighing about 155, but my body was growing. I hit puberty pretty late, and Moffitt told me just to focus on wrestling and to go 57. And I went 141 and 149 all year. In the last dual meet of the season, he says, go 57. The next 2 weeks till regionals, just focus on lifting, focus on getting better, and don't focus on anything else. And that's what I did. And my freshman year, I was in the finals against Johannes Mejias, who had beaten me 2 times that season, the first duel and then at the regionals. And then in the finals, I was beating him 4-2, and he laced me on our feet, threw me to my back with 10 seconds left, and scored 5 and beat me. So I took second. I was this close to winning my first championship, whether it be a state title or national tournament. So that was a hard feeling. I looked at Moffitt, I stepped off the mat, and I said, I should have listened to you all season. That wouldn't have happened to me. Should have listened to you. That wouldn't have happened. And then my sophomore year, man, I'm ranked number 1. I had beat Johannes 2 or 3 times before that. I beat everyone else in the weight. I'm beating D1 guys. And then first round, I wrestled Ryan Coakley. I'm up 10 points on him. Take a shot. He goes sag headlock and catches me on my back and pins me, man. And it was probably one of the lowest points I've ever been at in my life. I didn't want to wrestle. I told myself I was done. And, really sapped the energy out of my team. And guys like Pat, guys like Jake Meehan, Chris Ballard, Coach Moffitt, Mark Ryle. They just don't know what to say, but they're just saying, Richie, man, like, can he come back for us? Because we know you don't want to do it. And my parents were out there, and that's when I had a revelation. I've always been kind of selfish, and I didn't do it for me. I did it for my team, and that's when I learned, like, real camaraderie, when those guys actually depended on me and needed me. And that's one of the highest points of my life was when I came back for my team.
And I could tell just by the way you kind of explained still is pretty emotional time, in your life, a moment in your life. Is that something that you've used to motivate yourself now at Rutgers on the world level? You look back at that match getting beat, you use that as motivation?
For sure, man. I still think about it. Before my finals, I try not to talk to too many people, but I make sure I call the important people in my life. And, one of those people that I talked to before I wrestled in the finals was Pat. And he told me, he said, remember how you felt when you got pinned. Remember how you felt when you lost to Johannes Mejias last second, and you took second, you took third, and you never won. You never achieved what you wanted to achieve. And then I was talking to another friend, Nick Ligori, and he was saying, you took third in high school, you didn't win it. He said, that can't happen again. It's your time to be a champion. And I have a great support system, man, and that's what I was thinking when I was out there. It's my time. It's time to grow up, and it's time to capture everything that I've been wanting.
Now, your route to going from JUCO to Rutgers, that's not the route that everyone takes, right? But I think here in Iowa, we have so many schools, over 25 schools to choose from, and the JUCO route is a way that people can get noticed by a place like Rutgers, I guess. How do you feel like you've benefited from going to JUCO first to going D1? I mean, minus the scholarship money and everything. Let's just talk about wrestling and just personally by going that route.
Growing up, I had my parents loved me and everything, but I actually didn't live with them throughout my whole high school career. I was with my aunt a little bit. I was living with friends, living with my uncle, and then my mom had rented a house, and I lived with her for a little bit. And I was just always bouncing around, and I knew that if I wanted to achieve what I wanted to achieve, I had to get away and be in a place of, like, solidarity and be alone, but then be with someone like Luke Moffitt, Mark Ryle, who could mentor me and turn me into a man, because I may have been 18 years old, but I wasn't far from a man, And I needed to figure in my life who I could get along with, who could push me, and who I trusted. And when I went out on a visit, man, Luke Moffitt was that guy.
That's pretty powerful stuff. I guess now that you're at Rutgers, what led you to Rutgers? What sold you there?
Me and Coach Goodale are from the same town, Toms River, New Jersey. I have a lot of pride in Toms River. Frankie Yeager's from there, Todd Frazier. You see BJ Claggan, Kenny Theobald. You see a lot of production out of there. Vinny Delafave. So I take a lot of pride in that. And Coach Goodale actually supported me to go to junior college. He said it was smart. He said that's what he thinks I should do. And in high school, I was a little trouble, and he still liked me. He still would always ask me what I'm doing. He would always try and talk to me. So he just stuck with me through the process, and Rutgers was actually one of my bottom choices my freshman year at Iowa Central. And then I went on a visit here, and I was back home with my family. I didn't have the greatest relationship with my parents growing up, and I went out to Iowa Central, and I grew up and realized a lot of things, and I had a great relationship with them, and I still do. So that was a huge factor, was being back with my family and enjoying like that family aspect that I missed in high school, that I didn't get to experience.
So now, let's look towards the future. Obviously, this is a huge accomplishment for you on so many levels of what you've tried to go through, and obviously JUCO didn't get done, and here at Rutgers, what do you take away from getting this international medal? I mean, what's it do for you, folk style, freestyle going forward? I mean, have you thought now, hey, I'm the best. I can be the best in the world. Or not just now, but in the future too. What has this done for you?
It's just a stepping stone. there were some good guys out there, and I proved a lot to myself. So a lot of those guys were the senior level reps, and the fact that I outplaced the Russian, I outplaced Azerbaijan, I won the tournament, I beat those guys, and it's like exudes confidence through me. You know, I was already a pretty confident person, but as far as emotions, I feel pretty indifferent. Just because I've seen it in my head 100 times, 1,000 times, I envisioned it. You know, I dreamed of it since I was a kid. Did go by pretty fast, and now that I'm decompressed and the emotions are gone, I'm looking forward to the Scholastic season. So
you've got Lock Haven here tonight, and then what do you got going on this weekend? Where are you guys at?
We're not wrestling this weekend. Just tomorrow against Lock Haven, and then we're gearing up for Iowa December 8th at the Rack.
All right, so big duel for you. I mean, as far as remaining tournaments and duels, you have any that are circled on your calendar that means a lot to you?
Yeah, man. I pretty much. I want to win the Millions, and I want to win the NCAAs. So pretty much, just the big tournaments. And everything else to me is practice. It's just getting comfortable and getting better and training.
You looking forward to maybe meeting up with, not wrestling probably, but seeing Pat Downey at Midlands again?
Yeah, that's my man. I'm excited to see him.
Well, Richie, I appreciate you taking the time with us and talking a little bit about your roots and that coming here to Iowa. I guess one last thing, what do you think is the difference between that you've noticed from the East Coast to Mid Coast, besides the Billy Goats that you wrestle, I guess, in Iowa? I mean, what's the difference?
It's just a different class of people. Everyone in Iowa was hard-nosed, tough, gritty, straight to the point. You got to put all the work in, all the effort in, and that's what I learned from Iowa Central was Moffitt showed me how to be a man, showed me how to take responsibility, it showed me how to be present and be at every workout, because it's the little things that matter. You miss little things, you miss those little details, then that's what catches you up, And whereas in New Jersey, it's like, you go get the job done. How you do it is how you do it. Everyone's different, And I would say that's the biggest difference. And now that I learned that Iowa style and applied it to my New Jersey roots, it's working out really well.
Well, we'll be watching it, following along your career, and we appreciate the time. Congrats again.
Go train, go nice.